What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the No Money Real Estate Podcast. And listen, in this podcast show, I think the name might not actually fully describe what I'm doing and why I'm doing this podcast. I want to help 10,000 new people get into real estate investing. And I want this podcast to help people make the decision to go. And I'm super excited about the show today because I've got a couple really cool friends of mine that have jumped on here with me. I'm going to introduce you to them in a second. It's Sean and Brittany Louisses. And I love these guys. They are nurses who have been building a nursing practice for years, and they gave it up altogether to get into real estate investing. Now they own a major portfolio and they're real estate agents, and we're going to get into it right after this. Hey, my name's Ken, and I'm a real estate investor. I want to welcome you to the No Money Real Estate Podcast. On this show, I'm going to interview elite level real estate investors from all over North America, and I'm going to help you to see one thing that all successful real estate investors have in common. They built their portfolios without using a dime of their own money. I've got a portfolio of $300 million in real estate. That includes resorts, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, and I built the entire portfolio without using a dime of my own money. Real estate is a business that anybody can get into, but the strategies that those tight real estate investors use to build massive portfolios have been kept secret for decades. Now, because of this show, I'm going to reveal them to you. So let's get started. All right, guys, good to have you here. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
You too.
So where are you today, right now?
So today we are in North Bay, Ontario.
Okay, so this is something I don't understand. Why are you in North Bay? What's in North Bay?
So in North Bay, we own a medical clinic, Pathways Wellness Clinic. It's a health and wellness, alternative health and wellness clinic that we've been owners of for the last almost 5 years. And we are here to do some work on our
check
clinic,
out with the team, all that stuff.
Yeah, all that.
But
Okay,
also we just expanded on a home care contract where we're hiring a bunch of PSWs with VON, and yeah, it's getting really busy and crazy here. So
okay, so I want you guys to tell me the whole journey here because I think people will really be inspired by this. You both started out as nurses, and if I remember correctly, you were even doing like that nursing up in the north for extra money, but you've now transitioned completely where you're business owners. You have a major real estate portfolio and you're real estate agents. Walk me through that. Like, why did you decide to leave nursing? Where did you go first? We got hooked up. You did some more stuff. Like, tell me the whole story.
Yeah, so I've been a nurse for 17 years. You've been a nurse for 20 years. And when COVID hit, it really took a toll on nursing in general. And so we knew that we needed to make a change. You know, at the time we had been doing just part-time, like fixing up properties, but
flipping them, yeah.
Nothing like major. And so then we just decided that was it. Like we needed a change at that point in time. And so middle of 2020, we decided we should start a business, and that's what we did. We started as a mobile care business in North Bay, Ontario. We had moved up from the city. We were living in the GTA and moved back to our hometown,
like you, Ken, I'm ex-military as well. I was a medic in the Canadian Armed Forces for 5 years as a corporal, and decided that I wanted to expand my practice as a nurse in different areas. So I started providing care to vets, and that exploded with the amazing care I was providing. It went from 0 to 1 million in not even a year.
And so we just saw the opportunity there. It was like, well, if there's this much need, then we need to do something about that, and we need to take it to the next level. And so we opened up a clinic space, and it has just expanded astronomically since. We hit 6 figures in our business in the first year, and that was a great accomplishment. And it's just continued to grow, and we continue to build on it. But then at that time, we said, the whole goal of starting a business was to step back from being the nurse who's providing the care. And we wanted to be business owners. We didn't want to be working in our business. And that was the real shift for us. And when we started to do things to try and kind of move into that business mindset rather than that worker, mindset. And
okay, so how big is your portfolio today? Do you own the building your business is in North Bay?
No, we don't own the building we're in. And actually, we've been more like fix and flip, kind of investors. So I wouldn't say we own a large portfolio. We have a couple single family properties, and then short-term rental in Mexico.
So let me ask you then a different type of question. What type of real estate investing are you focusing on, and how have you done doing that?
So for us, the focus was always on fixing and flipping. When we were working, we were just doing it very like traditionally, like buy a house, fix things up, sell it,
Yep.
or move into it, fix it up, sell it. And then when we became business owners, that changed everything because now we had a really hard time of being approved for traditional mortgages. And so we had to start looking at, what is that going to look like now? And how do we do that? And that's how we stumbled across a lot of different, real estate groups and investment groups and realized there's so many, more ways to be able to purchase.
Well, and it wasn't just that. It was also, we're friends with Coach Jesse and Sarah Top, and Jesse being a really close colleague of ours and talking to us and supporting us through our journey. He was like, it'd be advantageous if you guys hooked up with Ken and joined the syndicate and figured out, all this private lending strategies so that you guys can be more successful in building that portfolio or fixing and flipping more properties moving forward.
I think one of the things I really love about you guys is that you never stop growing and
Yeah.
you never stop doing more, because I need you to focus on this for a bit, because I'm a huge proponent of this. As you're going down this journey, you were introduced to some information about why you should become a real estate agent. And you freaking did that. You became an agent. And I asked you this before we went on air. I'm just going to repeat your answer. Because of that, now you have a business that's growing where 75% of the money you're making in your life is actually from being a real estate agent, but that's fueling everything else. How did that happen? Like, why did you decide to become an agent? Was it hard? How long did it take? What are you getting out of that now?
Well, I decided to become an agent at one of the conferences we were at. It just made sense. If I was going to buy real estate and we were going to invest in real estate, then why not be able to bring those commissions back to me, be able to have access to more of the back end of what that looks like as an agent. And really what also fueled it was I was just frustrated with trying to find, individuals that I could work with that understood what we were trying to do. Because of the process, not everyone is investor focused when it comes to being an agent. And so going through that process, as an investor already, the process was really easy to become an agent for myself. It took me a month to get my full licensing. So to go through the whole course and to get all my licensing and honestly hit the ground running, just because, well, for one, it made it easy for us to purchase properties, but then so many other people saw that we were doing that and that I had my license. And then so everyone started reaching out on social media and saying, hey, I see that you're an agent here. Can you help me? Because I'm looking for, investment property as well. And I know that the process and what I'm looking for. And so it just, honestly, it skyrocketed. Like I didn't ever spend any money on advertising or anything. It's just grown the business so quickly.
And that was
So I know,
thanks
Sean,
to-
you guys do a bunch of planning and you're always talking about the future. So I'd love it if you would, and I don't know the answers. I'd love to hear it. I know you guys already have a plan for the next 12 months. What's that plan, Sean?
So the next 12 months, the first plan obviously is because we're here in North Bay to expand our clinic and our services to the region where it's underserved and be able to provide, that extra to our hometown would be fantastic. So that's why we're here currently doing that.
We've actually just hired 2 full-time staff
Wow.
in the week that we've been here.
We got a government grant as well for a
35,000
nurse.
from the government for a grant.
Um,
But for me, in the rest of the year, what it looks like is continuing to build this real estate business as well as our medical business. And so we're actually making a jump and moving to Mexico. And
Oh my God.
and that is the kind of next leg of our business, is that we'd like to continue expanding onto the real estate investment and working with investors in purchasing properties. We really love the short-term rental and hospitality space. And so we really see that something as like what we'd like to continue growing our own short-term rental portfolio and possibly getting into, larger kind of hospitality.
and let's say that you
Real
But
estate.
inspired
hold on,
us.
if you're a real estate agent and you're moving to Mexico, like, wouldn't you have to go get a license in Mexico to sell real estate?
Yep. Yeah. So we
Currently working
we
on
are
that?
working on that process already. Have already started working on the licensing. It's actually quite easy.
So you're actually
Um,
going to become a licensed agent in Mexico.
Yes. Plus, I have team members that I work with still in Edmonton so that I can still service my investor clients who are looking to continue to purchase in the Edmonton area. So.
And through EXP, we have a team that we've been building in Edmonton on that, thanks to Courtney and Mel as well down in Lethbridge.
Yep.
And so we're still able to work with investors to find them the ideal properties for their investments in Canada. And also now, inspired by you, Ken, with your trip to Barbados and Michelle Romanoff to get into short-term rental space, and just the returns in the market in Mexico right now are astronomical. It's blown us away when we calculate all the numbers. And we see the return on investments. It's blowing the Canadian market and American market out of the water right now. So we're like, how do we take advantage of that? So we immerse ourselves into that, taking our real estate license in Cancun. We're moving down there on Wednesday. Our dogs are already sitting in Mexico. We've sent them down there. We're going full tilt in this, like if this is what we're gonna be interested and focused in on, we're gonna make sure we apply ourselves 100%.
That's freaking crazy. Every podcast show, we're getting thousands and thousands of people that check this out because of people like you, the guests that I bring to the show. And I always ask, if you had a chance to give 3 pieces of advice to a new entrepreneur that's wanting to change their lives and wanting to make more money in life, what would those 3 pieces of advice be?
It would be first to immerse yourself in education and some sort of mentorship, because without that, we would have never gotten to where we are, and it would have made our journey a lot slower, I would say. And surrounding yourself with people who are doing these things already just makes it so much easier. You can bounce ideas off of each other. You can get, access to knowledge that, because they have experience doing these things. So that would be my number one advice.
My number one would be,
So your number one is your number 2, actually. So
okay, so it would be my number two. Would be basically like, be around the individuals that you want to emulate. For an example, we've looked at your career and what you've done in your portfolio, and you've been inspiring to us. So for us, it's, try to be around your conferences, join the syndicate, meet with you, talk as much as we can with you to find out strategies and how you kind of work things out so that we can apply some of those practices in what we do.
And then
Absolutely.
Number 3 would just be, for business in general, just start. Like there's no perfect solution. There's no perfect formula to creating a business. But if you don't actually start working on it and start doing it, you'll never have the business. You'll just be thinking about it always. So that was the one thing that we learned in business, that we just do it, and you learn along the way. You're always going to be learning along the way. So.
And added to that, it's mindset as well, Brittany. There's days where sometimes we might not feel that we're in the right space to do things, but then we just kind of, dig down deep and look how our perspective is on life and our situation, and keep positive. And as we keep positive, it's kind of bizarre, but the universe starts providing in different ways. It's odd, but it does work.
Okay, I'm going to make a comment and ask you a question through that comment. And I want you to answer by giving me the details of something that fucking went wrong, that you were doing and it went wrong and you figured out how to fix it. Because I think, here's the thought. I think that the biggest thing that stops people from pursuing entrepreneurship, from becoming entrepreneurs, from making money, it's not the idea of joining a coaching program or anything like that, because obviously joining a good coaching program is going to expedite how fast that can all happen. It's fear. They're afraid of making a mistake, and they're afraid that they won't know the answer to that mistake. But I believe that there is no way to become successful and make millions of dollars in your life every month unless you make those first steps, and you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be really shitty days.
Yeah.
But if you do things right, you can have a problem and you can fix it, but you're not going to fix it until you have the problem. So you have to get started.
No, I agree. Absolutely. I think that, a perfect example of that is the last flip that we did. We purchased a house basically sight unseen that had been in a fire. And you just never know what's going to come with that. You can prepare, you can think that you have everything in place, but you don't. And what we realized when we walked into the house was that the entire electrical, plumbing, heating, everything had to be replaced, all the systems. We weren't expecting to have to replace all of those. So that was a huge a huge aspect of it. So for us, I mean, we could have just sat there and wallowed in the fact that like, oh, well, that means that this is going to take away some of our profit. You know, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But for us, it was just like, okay, well, this is the issue. So now, like, what are we going to do to fix it? How are we going to make sure that these systems and everything get in there in time so that I don't sit here and be stuck holding on to this property for the next 6 or 12 months, you know, while I'm waiting for all these things. So the second I find something that's wrong, it's like, okay, well, what's going to be the solution? So that was like, okay, well, we need to contact an electrician now. We need to contact a plumber. We need to contact HVAC. We need to get these services lined up and in place, and we need to do something to raise a little extra funds to be able to pay for those costs. So,
and I think having, you know, Brittany's more of a concrete thinker than I am myself. I'm more of, you know, ADHD, kind of out of the box out there, and having the two kind of, mindsets put together is such a power, you know, a superpower in our part, because kind of thinking of those creative strategies on how can we, you know, make some good money out of this flip, how can we get out of this situation, what can we do, how can we do that? I came up with a lot of creative ways that Brittany didn't even think of in the first place. But again, those mistakes you learn from, and you also reach out to individuals like yourself, the group, the syndicate, other investors, and learn from them as well about their mistakes, how they approached it, and then start applying those practices to what you do.
Yeah, like forward. For that, like, should we have planned for that? Yeah, probably. We should have expected that, but we didn't. And now we know next time, you know, if we take that on again, that, you know, we should plan for that. But in the end, you know, it was a calculated risk, and we knew we had the ability to have enough spread to manage anything that came up. And so,
and we still made out really well. All the investors were paid off
at, for it.
You know, a high percentage of return, and everyone was happy and it was successful. Yeah. But we did learn a lot through that.
I mean, I could go on for days about all the mistakes we've made in business. Like, you can't be successful if you don't fail. Like,
yeah, without a doubt. Hey, listen, I want to thank you guys for being here today, and I also want to congratulate you, because having a chance to chat with you, we haven't talked in a little while. It's just making me realize that you and I connecting has done some pretty amazing things for you through my contacts and through what we've done together. And I'm just so fucking proud of the two of you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
All right, friends, listen, if you want to get a hold of Sean and Brittany, I'm going to put a link to them in the notes of this show. And normally we don't really talk about the Investors Growth Syndicate a lot on the show, but you heard Sean and Brittany talking about it a lot of times. It's a mastermind group that I run. We have hundreds of real estate investors in Canada inside. And if you want to know more about it, we'll put the link to a little video presentation where I explain it to everybody in the notes of this show too. And if you liked the show, then please hit that 5-star rating on the podcast channels. If you like the show and you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification so every time a new show comes out, you get to learn about that too. And most importantly, to learn this information and do nothing with it is a fucking abysmal tragedy. Do something with this information. Get out there and change your life. We'll see you on the next show.